All right, guys, so with it being the first week in April, we have a brand new word of the month. Let's check it out. The brand new word of the month is...
Elijah!
Not Elijah.
Hope.
Hope. Hope is our brand new word of the month. And so can someone help me read the definition of hope? Riley, how about you? Yes, believing that something good can come out of something bad. Something good can come out of something bad. That is hope. That's why when someone is sick or someone's in the hospital, like my grandpa. I miss my grandpa a lot. My grandpa passed away of cancer a few years ago. And so with that was something bad. So my grandpa, who had passed away of cancer a few years ago, that was bad. Obviously, when someone dies, that's a bad thing. That made me extremely sad. But at his funeral, all kinds of people stood up and said, this is how Paul, that was my grandpa's name, Paul took me hunting and told me about Jesus. Paul met with my family and was kind. Paul, and they were saying thing after thing after thing how Paul, my grandpa, had impacted their life in a positive way. And I realized, even though that was something bad that he had died, it was an amazing time, something good, to remember and celebrate my grandpa. And so my hope is that when there's something bad going on in our lives, we can have a little bit of hope that comes from Jesus, that something good can come out of it. Something good can come out of it. Our verse of the month is found in John chapter 16, verse 33. Hayden.
In this world you will have trouble, but be encouraged. I have won the battle over the world.
That's right. Jesus is saying this, and Jesus says, in this world you'll have trouble. Things are going to happen. We're going to have sad days. We're going to have bad days. We're going to have good days too. We're going to have all kinds of days, but there'll be trouble. But don't worry, be encouraged, because Jesus says, I have won the battle of the world. So he's like, you might be in trouble a little bit right now, but I am the help that's on the way. I have defeated the world. You do not have to worry about it. Because I am on your side. Next one. And our big idea says this. Whatever happens, remember how powerful God is. Sometimes we don't remember. We just hear a story of Jesus or we talk about God and we don't really realize just how powerful he really is. So today I'm going to actually read out the story today out of the Bible primarily, and then stop every now and then and kind of tell you about what's happening. Okay? And our story today starts in John chapter 11. This is in the New Testament, John chapter 11, and it says this. There was a man named Lazarus, who was sick. Now, the story starts off not a good thing. If you're sick in the Bible times, there was no medicine. All right? So, you can either be, we're sick for just a little bit, and it was just like a cold. You were either sick for a really long time because it took a really long time for your body to fight it, or the third and the most sad, all right, the sickness would just take him, okay? And Lazarus was sick, and he lived in a town called Bethany, where he lived with his sister Mary and his other sister Martha. Mary, the Bible adds this. It says Mary is the woman who later put perfume on the Lord's feet and wiped it with her hair. Now, if you've grown up in church or you've been to Sunday school, you might have heard of the story of the lady who broke perfume over Jesus' feet and with her tears in her hair wiped his feet clean. And if you've never heard that story before, it's in the Bible. You can look it up and you can read about it. But this is just letting you know this is the same person from that story that's in this story. And it says this. Mary and Martha sent someone to Jesus. And they gave him a message to tell him, Lord Jesus, one of your friends that you love is sick. So they're just like, hey, Jesus, Lazarus, someone you love, one of your friends, they're sick. We're just letting you know because it's kind of one of those bad sicks. and we need your help. When Jesus heard this, he said this, "This sickness will not end in death. It's for the glory of God this has happened, to bring glory to the Son of God." Jesus loved Martha and Mary and Lazarus. But when he heard Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. Then Jesus said to his followers after 2 days, "Let's go back to Judea." So after Jesus got this message, hey, Jesus, Lazarus is sick. And Jesus is like, hey, it's okay. I'm not too worried about it. He didn't seem too worried. He stayed there for 2 more days. And then he told his friends, hey, let's go back. Let's go find Lazarus. Let's see how he's doing. But the followers, his disciples said, Jesus, I don't know if you remember this, but the Jews that were there tried to kill you with stones last time. Do you really want to go back there again? They're kind of like, Jesus, last time you were there, you almost died. Are you sure you want to go back? That sounds like a kind of a bad idea. And Jesus said, are there not 12 hours in a day? If anyone walks in daylight, he will not stumble because he can see by the world's light. But if anyone walks at night, he stumbles because there's no light to help him see. He's like, guys, I am the light. I need to be there. I don't want my friends to be stumbling around in the darkness. I want to be there for them. And after Jesus said this, he added, guys, I know maybe we shouldn't go back to Judea because they want to kill us, but one of our friends is sick. Lazarus is sick. And he's fallen asleep. That's what Jesus said. And his friends are like, wait, we're going back because Lazarus fell asleep? If he fell asleep, then he'll just sleep off the cold and he'll just get better. That's just what happens. And Jesus was like, okay, he's not actually asleep. Lazarus is actually dead. And his disciples were like, what? Dead? And Jesus said, Lazarus is dead. And I'm glad for your sakes that I was not there so you may believe. But let's go to him now. And his disciple Thomas said this, well, I guess if Jesus is going to go back and get killed, I guess we'll go back and get killed too. Let's just all go together. Thomas thought for sure they were going to go down. But Jesus, he was pretty sure it wasn't going to happen. So, here's what happens. It says this in verse 17. Jesus arrived in Bethany, and there he learned that Lazarus had already been dead for 4 days. Bethany was about 2 miles from Jerusalem. Many Jews had come there to comfort Martha and Mary about their brother. You know, like when someone dies, sometimes you have to go to the funeral home and say sorry to the family. That's what was happening. A bunch of Jewish people were going to Mary and Martha and saying, I'm sorry about your loss. I'm sorry that Lazarus died. Martha heard that Jesus was coming and she ran out to meet him. But Mary had stayed home. And Martha said to Jesus, Jesus, if you would have been here, my brother would still be alive. Martha wasn't very happy with Jesus. And you might be going, oh, someone was mad at Jesus and yelled at him? Well, actually in the Bible, there's a lot of people who are mad sometimes at God and yell at him. And God doesn't get mad when we yell. He tries to help us understand. Martha didn't understand what was going to happen. And so she was mad. Jonah yelled at God. David yelled at God. Moses argued with God. But it was because they didn't know God's plan. And Martha said, if you would have been here, like I told you, we sent you a message, and you didn't come. And this is what Martha said after. But I know that even now, if you ask God for anything, he'll give it to you. Wink, wink. Like, ask him to bring my brother back. Wink, wink. Jesus felt very sad in his heart. And Jesus said, your brother will live again. And Martha said, I know he's going to rise again. You told us that anyone who believes in you will be resurrected and live in heaven. I know he's going to be alive again. And Jesus said, oh, no. I am the resurrection and the life. And whoever believes in me will have life even if he dies. Martha, do you believe this? Martha said, yes, Jesus. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God. You are the one who is coming to the world. After Martha said this, she went back to her sister Mary. She talked to Mary alone, and Martha said, the teacher is here, and he's asking to see you. When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to Jesus. Jesus had not yet come into the town. He was still at the place where Martha had met him. The Jews who were with Mary in the house, comforting her, they saw Mary stand up and leave quickly, and they followed her, thinking that she was going to the tomb or the grave to cry for her brother. But Mary went to the place where Jesus was, and when she saw them, she fell down at his feet and yelled at him too. Jesus, if you would have been here, my brother would be alive. Oh, Mary and Martha mad at Jesus. Jesus saw Mary was crying, and the Jews that came with her were crying too. Jesus felt very sad. His heart was broken, and he was deeply troubled. And he asked, where did you bury him? Come and see, Lord, they said. Jesus cried. So the Jews said, look at Jesus crying. See how much he loved him? Jesus really was close friends with Lazarus. But some of them said, if Jesus healed the eyes of a blind man, made a paralyzed person walk, why couldn't he have just kept Lazarus from dying? We ask that sometimes, don't we? Jesus, I see you do all these miracles in the Bible. Why can't you just help my friend get better? Why can't you help my grandpa feel better? Why can't you help my dad get better? That's what these Jews were asking. Jesus felt sad, and he came to the tomb. The tomb had a large stone by its entrance, and Jesus said, move the stone away. But Martha said, Jesus, he's been dead for 4 days. It's gonna stink. It's been 4 days in the hot summer sun in a cave with a dead body. It's gonna stink. And Martha, I remember she was a sister of Lazarus. But Martha said, but Jesus, if that's what you want to do. And Jesus said to her, I didn't tell you. Or he said, didn't I tell you to believe? Do you believe in me? And she said, yes. So they moved the stone away, and Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I say these things because of the people here around me. I want them to believe that you sent me. After Jesus said this, he cried out in a loud voice, Lazarus, oh. So imagine this. Let's picture the scene. I'll pause right there. Cave. Mary, Martha. Jesus standing in front of them. Jewish people all around him crying. You smell a stink coming from the cave. You can't really see inside because it's dark. And then Jesus looks into the cave and says, Lazarus, come out of there! Lazarus came out of the tomb, his hands and feet wrapped in a cloth wrapped around his face. And Jesus said to them, take off this cloth and let him go. Jesus healed his best friend in a crazy way. Like, we're not talking like he broke his finger and Jesus healed his finger and he's like, yay, my finger's better. He was dead. And Jesus brought him back. Jesus is crazy powerful. God is powerful. And when we talk about Easter, when we talk about Jesus coming back from the dead and being our salvation, that when we believe in Jesus, he will bring us back when we go to heaven and live with him forever. This is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. When Jesus comes back, he is going to say, hey, let's go. We're going to heaven. And he's going to take those who believe with him. And they're going to come back and they're going to worship. Lazarus was dead for 4 days. It doesn't matter how long we've been dead. Jesus is powerful. He made everything, and he can do anything. We don't have to be afraid of anything because Jesus is with us. That story ends with Lazarus walking out of a tomb looking like a mummy, taking off cloth and being like, what happened? I've been asleep for 4 days. No, Lazarus, you've been totally dead. But Jesus is powerful. And I want you to remember, whatever happens, remember how powerful God is. And remember that he is the one who is on our side. Our hands we fold, our heads we bow. It's time to talk to Jesus. Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for the boys and girls who are here today, God. And I just pray that you give us a fantastic week. But God, remember that no matter what happens, we need to remember how powerful you are. That when we ask for help, we can ask for big things. But we have to believe it. We have to believe it's going to happen. When Jesus saw Mary and Martha and the Jews crying, he said, listen, you guys are going to watch this because I want you to believe that what God said is true, that I am really the Son of God. And when he said, Lazarus, come out, your power brought a man back to life. God, when we believe with all our heart that you are the Son of God, that you were the chosen one, the one that was sent here for our salvation, we can believe and trust and ask you big things because you are powerful. And we love you, God. I praise all in your name. Amen. Thanks for watching our video today. If you liked what you saw, make sure you click like down below and subscribe to KidsPoint TV. Also hit that little bell icon. That way you can be notified anytime we upload a video. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.